Hey everybody, how are you doing? My name is Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist, and I'm live on my IG page. I will save this and repost it to my YouTube, The Body Scientist 81. In case you're unfamiliar with me, I have a background in exercise and sports science, nutrition science. I'm actually a sports nutritionist, but I have a holistic perspective. And I am a doula, birth worker, sacred sexual educator, just everything having to do with the body and optimal functioning of the body. And for those of you who follow me, you know that I travel a lot. Hey, Kenny. You know I travel a lot. And I've been wanting to do this video for a while, talking about how I stay healthy as I travel, okay? Because there's much to be said about this, and I don't see, I have never come across anybody giving great advice on that area, right? So, for those of you who know me, follow my work, I'm very picky about what I put on my skin, okay? I'm very picky about what it is I'm eating, and if I don't eat good quality foods, my stomach hurts, okay? And, I talk about food systems a lot. Everywhere I go, I study the food systems, okay? So I'm not most nutritionists or dietitians, they don't really have a holistic approach. They don't always focus on the quality of the food. And for those of you who follow me, I talk about fats all the time and the good fats to cook in and what to avoid. And what I find is that I can find those things easier when I'm in the States. So when it comes to what I put on my skin, I make my own skin mixtures, but before that, it's when I travel around, I've never been anywhere where I see people selling cocoa butter. I don't see people selling shea butter anywhere, okay? But in every city in the U.S., you can find shea butter. You can find cocoa butter. Only thing I ever see in other countries is coconut oil. Coconut oil and olive oil, okay? I saw ghee in St. Martin. I'm trying to remember if I saw ghee in Mexico. I might have seen ghee in Tulum, maybe. But, when it comes to cooking, right? Kentucky's cool to visit. Okay, I like going places in the U.S. One of my favorite things to do is to travel around the U.S. I think the U.S. is way underrated. I feel like the U.S., there's so many everything exists in the U.S. And we have the best food. And just in terms of food diversity, I'm American, I don't know half the stuff that we eat. Every single state and city you go to, there's dishes you never heard of, right? And I think American food is very diverse. But also, just when it comes to quality, when I tell people it's good to cook in duck fat or tallow, grass-fed butter, ghee, I have never. You could probably find it in Europe. I've only been to Paris once. I've only been to London once. Been to Amsterdam twice. But, doesn't mean I've seen everything. But when I go to those countries, or any country, I go in practically every supermarket that I pass. And I analyze what's in them. I never saw. Now, I would think that in Europe you would see it. And I'm sure you can find it in Paris, because the French cook with these fats. But I didn't. I'm trying to remember. Did I go in how many supermarkets? I don't know if I went into many supermarkets in Paris, but I definitely did in London. London, they eat more processed food in London than in the States, okay? But on my travels, I've never seen duck fat, lard, tallow in the supermarkets. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I haven't been everywhere. But the places I've been, I haven't seen it. In Colombia, at least the last time I was here, that's where I'm at now, but the last time I was here, I couldn't find butter anywhere, and I was annoyed, because even in Cartagena, I would ask people for butter. Tiene mantequilla, okay? Not margarina, not margarine, all right? And they would always give me butter-flavored margarine. I can taste and feel the difference, right? Margarine does not taste like butter. And not only is margarine really bad for you, but it's disgusting, right? And eating stuff like that makes my stomach hurt. But when you're in a foreign country, you're stuck with what's there. So I find that finding those kind of fats really difficult. But even the butter in Colombia, last time I was here, I would go into supermarkets, I could not find butter. I would see butter-flavored margarine in the supermarket with a picture of a cow in a farm to make you think it's butter, but it wasn't. I spent one of the main countries I spent the most time in when I first started traveling internationally was Costa Rica, and I went there to teach. I went there to teach Costa Ricans, so I was around people who were from that country. I didn't go there with a bunch of Americans to teach a retreat. I went there. A Costa Rican woman brought me there, and I was on both the Pacific and the Caribbean coast of the country, both coasts and the middle of the country. I taught. But on the Caribbean coast, there you see like monkeys swinging from the trees. You're in the jungle. Could not find raw milk. Could not find good quality ice cream. The whole country of Costa Rica, they have like, at least the last time I went, I haven't been to Costa Rica since 2013. Wow. Damn, the years fly. Was it 2013? I went to Costa Rica a lot from 2010 to 2013. The first time I went was 2006. So really I was going there from 2006 to 2013. So something could have changed by now, but I know that, I'm an ice cream connoisseur. I'm in milk. I need dairy. Like, if I don't get some type of dairy every day, I don't feel right. Like, it needs to be milk, a milky tea, a ice cream, something, right? But I drink raw milk. When I'm in the States, I get raw milk in New York. I get it in Chicago. I've gotten it in Atlanta. You definitely get it in California. You get it in Connecticut. You get it in Florida. A lot of places. You can't really get it in Texas and in Louisiana, which is one of the reasons why I would never live in those states. I can't live in a state where I cannot get raw milk, right? So, but in Costa Rica, the only time I was able to find that was the time that I stayed on a farm in San Jose. Like I was actually on somebody's farm. They had cows and I was able to get it. But you can't get those type of things. On the the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica, where it's like, they say that's the best food, because to me, Costa Rican food is very bland, nothing to be excited about at all. It's a safe country, beautiful country, but the food is just bland and boring to me. But the Caribbean coast had the best food. But you know what? They cook with MSG by the bags, okay? I remember people who are from there telling me that. The cooks in these restaurants that people are like, oh, this is the best food in the Caribbean side of the island. Those restaurants, they go to the supermarket and buy big bags of MSG by the gallons to cook with. Americans don't do that, okay? Also, okay, so you have that, right? So just, access to good fats. A lot of people, like whether it be Puerto Rico, I haven't been to Puerto Rico in years, but I remember I was in Luisa and everything was fried. Like people always say Americans eat so much fried food. No. A lot of Caribbean countries and like South America here in Colombia, they eat a lot of fried stuff. And trust and believe, they're not frying in traditional fats. They're frying in canola oil, corn oil. That stuff is horrible. Okay, I go out of my way not to eat stuff like that. And that's why even like when I'm home, I have to cook a lot. Like I do order out sometimes because I might just be too tired and busy, but I do not feel good when I order out too much. And I don't order fast food. I have not eaten fast food since I was in college, okay? I have not eaten Popeyes, Burger King, none of that shit since I was like 20, right? Since I've been growing, I don't eat that. But still, most restaurants aren't using those good quality fats, and I can feel it. I don't feel nourished, and after a while, it makes my stomach hurt, right? So when I'm traveling, you just got to adapt to where you're at. The other thing, too, is, what was I going to say? Oh, I talk about the cleaning products, right, and soap. And this is one thing about the United States that's so great. Because people, and I've done videos in the past where I've analyzed, is American food as bad as people say? Because I'm a researcher, I deal with facts. This is my area of expertise. This is the area that I've been avidly researching for the past 20 years. Everybody thinks they're a nutrition expert nowadays. Everybody does, and they haven't studied any of this stuff. Everybody states these nutritional things like they're facts, and it's wrong. So people always say the food in America is so bad, it's so processed, but honestly and truly, I find it to be worse everywhere else that I've been. Only place that it wasn't worse, I think, was in France, in Paris, and Amsterdam. But the food in Amsterdam is really bland. They're very meat and potatoes kind of people. It's very bland, but Amsterdam was like the healthiest, tallest, well-built, looking like they're ready for whatever type people I've ever seen. And they're very much meat, and they eat a lot of cheese. They're all about cheese. They're all about cheese and like meat, potato type people. Bland diet, but that's what it is. And they're very healthy, like beautiful skin, active bodies, and stuff like that. But What is this thing crawling by my head? Sorry. Hold on a minute. There's a bug. The hell? Okay. So I forgot what I was saying. So, oh yeah, options, right? So in the U.S., like, we have a lot of options. I've never been to another country where you have so many options. Like, I'm talking about when it comes to soap. I can go to Whole Foods right now. They got 10 different kinds of soap. 10 different kinds of soap that might be made with coconut oil and cocoa butter. It may be goat's milk or with like natural. I do not use Dove or Irish Spring. I have not used any type of commercial soap on my skin since I have been grown. Okay, I don't know how people use those regular commercial soaps. They dry your skin out. When you use soap that has goat's milk, coconut oil, cocoa butter, olive oil, palm oil, it moisturizes your skin. Okay, it cleanses because those oils help to clean actually, but it feels soft and moisturized. When you use like the Dove and the Irish Spring, it just dries your shit out. But that's when I've been in other countries, that's all I see. I've never been able to find the soap that I would use that's up to my standard. I have never seen that in another country. Okay, I'm not saying they don't have it. Maybe if you went to a local farmer's market or something, but I've never seen it. Okay, so in the States, you can find that in like a drugstore, or you might find it in a supermarket. Okay, Sprouts, a Whole Foods, or another local store like that. Same thing with cleaning products. In the U.S. we have like, you go to Whole Foods or a supermarket like it, you got like 10 different kinds of natural cleaning products. I find that when I go to other countries, especially like Spanish-speaking people, they are great at cleaning, okay? And not to be stereotypical, but they're very clean. Like every Spanish-speaking country, I feel like they're very good with, they don't play when it comes to cleaning, but they use the harshest cleaning chemicals, right? And I can't stand that. Like, I really can't stand it. Those chemicals are very cancer-causing and toxic. And there's no need to poison yourself with all these cancer-causing chemicals in your environment when you could use natural soaps, okay? Where was I? Oh, when I was in St. Martin, I did see Castile soap in the supermarket, right? And I saw Castile soap and I saw castor oil in the supermarket, in their health food store. There was like an organic health food store I went to in St. Martin. But it still didn't compare to what you could find in the States, okay? Like even when I'm in New York City, okay? In New York City, there is, like, when I want to hydrate, I drink coconut water, I drink watermelon juice. I do not drink Gatorade at all, okay? When people do things like drink Gatorade, which a lot of people do, use regular cleaning products, use regular soap, regular lotion, spraying, chemical stuff in the air, or burning some toxic incense that are made from low quality ingredients, and then people wonder why people end up with cancer. There's so many things that people do. People use a microwave. You should never use a microwave, but if you do turn on a microwave, you need to be like 100 feet away from it or out the room. That's how much radiation comes up a microwave. It's really, really bad. So a lot of people who just live like a regular life, they use microwaves all the time. They use regular soap. They use regular cleaning products. They're cooking in canola oil. That's the prescription for cancer. You have like all these different cancer-causing things, and they work synergistically. So in terms of finding these good quality fats, I've never been any place where I can find them as easily as I can find them here. When it comes to finding pasture eggs or grass-fed meats, there's a lot of places, especially when I've been in the Caribbean, okay, and in South America, and the only place I've been in South America is Colombia. And then I've been to Costa Rica and Central America. But when I was in Jamaica, and it's been a long time since I've been to Jamaica, but I remember all I saw in Jamaica was, I remember when I was there, I did not see fresh squeezed juice like that. Like, you think, oh, you're in the tropics, people are going to have juice. I saw people drinking pineapple soda and grape soda. And I saw the same thing when I was in Haiti. When I went to Haiti, I remember being so freaking thirsty. And everywhere we went, people were trying to sell us soda. I never saw so much soda in my life as when I was in Haiti. It was like 20 people right next to each other selling soda. And I'm like, I don't want soda. You don't got coconut water or something, or some type of fresh, like it's the Caribbean. Like, but when I'm in New York City, I can find fresh squeezed juice, coconut water easy, like every bodega. You know what I'm saying? Or coconut, or watermelon juice or whatever. It's very easy. So, um, and what was the other thing? A lot of people don't know how to analyze ingredients and they have no idea what they're eating. So they just have this assumption because you hear that Americans eat the worst and our food is the worst. So people just keep reciting that. And they're like, well, I'm going to move over here to the Caribbean and be healthy. But it's like, actually, you have less options in those places. Way less options. And I can see, sometimes I want to look up the stats because just by looking at people, you don't always know how healthy the population is. But I can guarantee you that people in all these countries, if they're not already really sick with a bunch of health problems, they will in the next 10 years, okay? Because while a lot of people in America are waking up, not everybody, but there's enough demand to people that's waking up that now you're starting to see pasture eggs in a regular supermarket. You're seeing Kerrygold grass-fed butter in a regular supermarket, okay? You can find natural soaps in a lot of supermarkets, even some drugstores. And you can find sanitary napkins that don't have a bunch of bleach and chemicals in drugstores. When I'm in other countries, you just see the regular everything. Just the regular, that's it. You don't have all these different options. So that's one of the things about the U.S. when it comes to access. I really think that it's a myth that the food is so bad. Like if you eat food from the commercial food industry, yes, but you can avoid that. And it's not hard to do that here at all. And I talk about that a lot in my videos in case, you need to go back and look at them. So anyhow, getting back to the point of the talk. So when I travel, it can be hard because I don't eat anything they give me on the plane, okay? I don't know how anybody eats airplane meals, okay? That is disgusting. I cannot eat something airplane's so small. Where'd that food come from? Like I can't eat something that comes in this little package. I'm good on that, okay? Then that's when you have like the long international flights and they're giving you meals. I don't want that. But just regular flights, they want to give you pretzels and cookies. That shit is not good for you. Sitting around eating pretzels, no way is that good for you. So a whole bunch of wheat and flour, or they're giving you cookies and they're giving you juice and soda, like, no. So what I try to do, and then in the airports, some airports have upgraded. There are some airports in the States that actually have good food in the airport. But generally I try to avoid airport food because a lot of times it's expensive, it's not that good. And so what I try to do is I try to eat good before I travel. I don't like traveling hungry. But that can be hard sometimes because like today I had a flight at 5 in the morning. Had to be at the airport at like 3 in the morning. Had to get up at like 2 in the morning. So I didn't eat anything, had a short layover. And the options, I'm not going to get a dusty little greasy sandwich out of the airport. You know what I'm saying? So to me, those are the days that I might just fast. Like I don't really believe in fasting. I don't ever fast on purpose. I fast when I'm traveling and I don't have access to good food. I just won't eat. I'm not going to eat garbage. I just won't eat. So, and that's why but if I've been working out a lot, I'm so ravenous hungry. So what I try to do is plan ahead and eat good food, or I might bring some cheese with me because cheese is nutrient dense, because you want to eat things with protein and fat. That's what is satiating. Sitting around eating potato chips and crackers and pretzels, it's not satiating. It's not nutrient dense. Okay. Yeah, see, you'd be starving on the flights. That's what I'm saying. Like when you're starving, then you're more likely to eat the cookies and the pretzels. And then to me, when I eat stuff like that, I don't feel good after I eat that. Like then I'm like, why did I eat that? Like I just don't feel good when I eat all those grains and flour. I just don't. But when you're really hungry, sometimes you eat anything. And it's protein and fat that helps to keep you satiated. So getting like a good quality yogurt, like sometimes it kind of just depends on where you are. Like if I'm going to gravitate toward the cheese and the yogurt because I'm like, this easy to digest if you don't have digestive problems, okay? I don't have a problem digesting cheese or yogurt, okay? But it's giving you a lot of protein and fat and other vitamins and nutrients. But the protein and fat helps to keep you full. If you're eating like carbohydrate-based things like fruit and crackers and chips and cookies, that's just a bunch of sugar. It's not nutrient dense. It's not satiating because carbohydrates are very easy to digest. And it just makes you more hungry. So I really try to plan ahead with that. But sometimes I'm not able to. But that's what I try to do. Like I might get some string cheese. Or even in the airport sometimes they might be selling that. And I might grab a couple just to put something there. So it can kind of depend. But then like When I walked into my Airbnb here in Colombia, they have this sitting here. You know, it's a gift, free, right? It's Mandarin and pineapple soda. There's no way in hell I'm drinking this. And let me tell you something. The soda thing. Every country I go to in the Americas, I just talked about Haiti and Jamaica. But did you know Mexico was #1 in the world for drinking sugary drinks? What is this? This is pineapple and mandarin soda from Colombia. Okay, piña y mandarina. I wouldn't drink this because this has a whole bunch of crap in it. Okay, it's, you know, it has all these sorbates and stabilizers and carbon cellulose. What the hell? Xanthan gum. I'm reading, it's all in Spanish, but I know my foods. Xanthan gum, got sodium benzoate, this artificial sugar, acetylsame K, which is really cancer causing. There's sucralose in here. There's a bunch of crap in here, okay? This is really bad. Really bad. I would never drink this. Then they got this brisa con gas. This is water with gas in it. I don't want, like, what, seltzer? What the, like, I don't know. I don't drink water where people add electrolytes or they add vitamins to the water. Like, no, water is water. Water is water. Do I like legumes for protein? No. So yeah, I wouldn't drink either one of these. Then they got, you know, you got these, what did they leave here? Cookies and stuff. I wouldn't eat this. Like cookies and soda? No. Some people will come in here and be like, ooh, let me eat this. Like, that's not, no. And then some apples that I also wouldn't eat. I don't care about apples. Like, if I ate this, it would make me hungry. But this apple probably isn't even organic. But I'm just saying, like, I don't sit around. I don't eat fruit unless, I rarely eat fruit. When I eat fruit when it's really hot outside. If it's like really, really hot outside and I'm sweating a lot and maybe I'm doing stuff, I eat fruit then. Otherwise, I don't eat fruit. I eat fruit in my ice cream. I eat fruit in my shakes. Oh, yeah, I have fruit every day when I make my raw milkshakes at home. I put fruit in that with the milk. But I don't sit around eating fruit. Again, it's just sugar and it makes me hungry. Like, if I eat fruit, I need fat. I need some yogurt. I need some cheese. I need some, like, I just need some, like, and that's how people do it traditionally. They have, like, pineapple and cream. I'll do pineapples and whipped cream. I need some type of fat or cream. Just eating fruit makes me hungry because it's sugar. And eating sugar just makes me hungry. I don't know how people eat stuff like that. But, yeah, this is how they get you leaving a bunch of crap around. A lot of people end up eating that. And that's why it's good to be satiated. Because then you don't want that. Like here, this was some broth that I was drinking. I'm not done. But I ordered this from a Japanese restaurant. This is creamy pork and chicken broth. Okay, from Japanese ramen place. So I'm just drinking the broth. And I had a little bit of sushi and drank that broth and I'm good. Right? In Colombia, one thing about Colombia, and probably a lot of Spanish speaking countries, but I could say because I spent a lot of time in Colombia, they have a lot of soups. A lot of caldos. Like a lot of, when I say soups, I mean like brothy soups. They're made from like broth heavy soups. I know the Dominicans do too. I've never been to the Dominican Republic, but I know about sancocho, like, so, the broths are critically important. Broth is a health food, okay? And you typically find broth in Japanese ramen places. Usually they have pork broth, okay? And pork broth is a superfood. You have all these healthy Japanese people. All they do is consume pork broth. Then you have Mexicans. They do a lot with broth, with caldo, in brothy soups, okay? The Mexicans do, the Japanese do, Koreans, they'll have brothy stuff. So I'll look to those ethnic groups when I'm really trying to find, like if I'm like, I really need broth, I'll look to that. And the thing about Colombia is they have a lot of international food here, so you can find that. And their own food is very broth heavy. And they also eat a lot of organ meats here, which is also very good for you. But yeah, so, and the other thing is I'm sensitive to artificial chemicals in the air. Like, I hate it. Like, one of the reasons why the Airbnb I'm staying at, so you probably can see, there's a balcony back there. I got the door closed, right? There's a balcony. When I travel, I like to stay places that have balconies. I need a balcony. That's one reason why I don't like hotels. And there are hotels that have balconies, but it's rare. I need fresh air. I cannot stand, okay? I cannot stand being closed up in a place. Like, the air to me feels stale. Then I hate when people try to put scents. Like, some people they think they're doing something by, oh, I'm going to put this plug-in, this Glade plug-in so it smells good. To me, it does not smell good. It smells like chemicals. It makes me sick. I can taste it. It's just horrible. And it's really cancer causing. Like, look it up. Look up most incense. Let's see, you have a high quality incense or air freshener that plug-in is putting a bunch of cancer causing chemicals in air. And to me, it doesn't even smell good. It smells like chemicals. And I hate walking into a place and smelling that, and then you can't open the window. I also hate that when getting in cars, you know, if I get in somebody's car and they got those trees that hang from the, you know, those scented trees that they hang from the rearview mirror. That stuff is poison. I hate that. Like, there's some, like, I just can't stand it. And people will have the windows up. I need fresh air, okay? I need fresh air. Then, you know, I have to make sure that I travel with stuff to put on my skin and my own soap. I always bring my own soap, and I always bring my moisturizers. Always. I do not use, and you can't, that's the thing about traveling in Europe though, is like, when I was in Europe and I flew to different countries, and said, I don't think I'd want to do that again, because the rules for flying in Europe, it's like in the US, you can't bring fluids onto the plane that's more than 3 ounces or 4 ounces, something like that. But in Europe, they limit you to, like, all your 3-ounce bottles of liquid have to fit into one sandwich-sized Ziploc bag. And the Ziploc bag needs to completely close with no open areas or anything. And nothing poking out the bag, no holes in the bag. If you can't fit all your liquids in that bag, you can't take it on a plane. Now, that's a problem, especially for black girls, because we got stuff we need for our hair. You know, I need stuff I need for my skin. And then if I'm going to be gone for like a certain amount of time, like, and I remember when being in London and the guy was like, oh, you could just throw it out. There's a body shop on the other side. I'm like, I don't want anything out of the body shop. No. So if I were to throw my moisturizer out right now that I put on my skin, I don't know what I would use. I probably would have to go to the supermarket and get olive oil or coconut oil, because I'm definitely not going to find any cocoa butter here. Cocoa butter apparently comes from South America, but I have never seen cocoa butter in Colombia. Okay. I don't really see palm oil in the store either. So like my skin mixtures, I might put palm oil and ghee and cocoa butter, sometimes shea butter. It's not easy to find those. Okay. So I definitely travel. I make sure I do not forget my moisturizer and I do not forget my soap. Okay. Then with leaving the country, a lot of people, some countries want to force you to use hand sanitizer. I do not. If you have not seen my videos about why I would never use hand sanitizer, check it out. If you haven't seen my videos on the microbiome, like in preventing intestinal dysbiosis, probiotics, why it's so important, check them out. I maintain my microbiome like my life depended on it, because it does. Because some can say that bacteria is your first line of defense against infectious disease, but so is your skin. Our skin is our largest organ, but it's also part of our immune system. Our skin is what is like the barrier between what comes in and out of our body. But we also have bacteria all over our skin as well. And we have good bacteria that we need. That's our first line of defense against the bad bacteria and infectious organisms and viruses. So when you wipe out the good bacteria by using these artificial hand sanitizers, that kills all your troops. That's going to help you fight infectious organisms. And then the bad organisms that were around mutate to that artificial hand sanitizer stuff. And then you have like really resistant, strong strains of disease-causing organisms on your skin, in your gut, in the vaginal canal, whatever it is. If you were taking antibiotics or you're using hand sanitizer, no. There are natural antibacterial agents. So many, like coconut oil being one of them. Okay, but also aloe, there's tea tree oil, you know, there's garlic, you know, I mean, there's so many things. There's cannabis oil, like there's so many things that is super antimicrobial, antiviral in a natural way that feeds the good bacteria and kills off the bad, creates an environment where the bad bacteria can't survive and they can't mutate towards it, right? So, and I find that all these other countries, they are more obsessed with hand sanitizer than I've ever seen in the U.S. Like I've never been anywhere in the U.S. where it's a requirement to put hand sanitizer on to come in the airport or to come in a restaurant. It's not a requirement. in Mexico, getting off the plane, they make you walk under a shower of of sanitizer sprinkling on you. Like, okay, so I walked through a little bit of sanitizer sprinkling on me. What is that gonna do? If people have COVID in their throat and they're coughing it up, how is sprinkling sanitizer over my head gonna in my clothes doing anything? Is stupid. But so I avoid all of that. So I might travel, like when I'm in Mexico, and now anytime I leave the country, I just bring something. First, I was bringing my own hand sanitizer. Now I have like a eucalyptus spray, and I don't have it for that reason. I just have it to just put some eucalyptus oil in the air to just, just be relaxing. But if I don't leave home without it, because if I go someplace and they want me to use hand sanitizer, I pull it out and I'm like, I have my own, and nobody ever is resistant to that, because I am not putting that on my skin. Okay. And I find that another thing, when I went to Haiti, and that was 12 years ago now. Wow, time flies. Everybody I know, like before that, who have gone to Haiti, they always came back sick. They always came back with like really bad diarrhea or like some type of GI issue. And a lot of that is because of the bacterial strains there being different. So it's not just Haiti, it's other countries too that people can go to. Like they say, don't drink the water, but like stuff might bother you, but it doesn't bother people who live there because they're used to those bacterial strains and it's foreign to you. So I know, because of the people I knew who had gone to Haiti all came back sick. Before I went to Haiti in 2010, I took a high dosage of probiotics before I went, and that was part of my prevention. And when I did go, I did come back a little bit sick, but I wasn't as sick as everybody else. Okay, there were people who had bad diarrhea and were really, really sick. And so I prepared myself by taking a high dosage of probiotics. Okay. I also travel with my cannabis oil. Okay. Because I use that for everything. Okay. People think it's a joke when you talk about cannabis oil being, or cannabis in general being medicinal, but it helps with so many things. Like if I have a headache, I put cannabis oil on my tea. I do not, under any circumstance, take ibuprofen, Tylenol, none of that. Okay. When I got into a car accident last year, my back, I could barely move. I could barely move my back. I couldn't even get in and out of a car. I couldn't pick up my skillet. That's how bad my back was hurting. Okay. What did I do? Took that cannabis oil. I don't know what took me so long to do it, because once I started to do it and I put it in my tea, it very quickly, my back got 85% better. And I kept doing that, and then now it's 100% better. I didn't have to keep taking it. I just did it, and now I'm 100%. It's normal. But my back was jacked up when I got into the accident last year, right? And the cannabis oil actually helps you heal. It's not like if you take pharmaceuticals, it masks the pain, but it's not helping you heal at all. And they can be addictive, and it can actually do the opposite and stop your body from naturally healing itself. So that's why I don't take those. In my house, I do not have any of that stuff. I have aloe plants. If I were to cut myself, or get some type of, I'm putting some aloe on it, I put some cannabis oil on it. When I ripped my navel ring out my stomach on the pole, that's what I used, cannabis oil, because the pain was so intense. Aloe, I didn't use the ointment that they gave me in the hospital to prevent infections. Nope, didn't use that. Because it was like some antibiotic type artificial stuff. There are so many natural things, right? So I definitely travel with my cannabis oil and sometimes even a tincture. Okay? Because anything that happens, I burn myself, put the cannabis oil on it, it stops the burn immediately. Cut myself, I got a headache, some kind of pain, cannabis oil. Mosquito bite, something bites me. And I didn't even know it helped with bites until one of my friends who got some oil from me, I'm sitting there talking to her, and she tells me that she had put it on a bite. Like while we were talking, she had a bite that was itching her. She put the oil on it and it stopped the itch. Okay. I remember a couple summers ago, I swear I got an infection on my inner thighs from going in the lake in Chicago. I would never go in there again. It's beautiful, but I think that shit is dirty. It doesn't look dirty, but I had this weird rash on my inner thighs that was so painful, and I had no idea what the hell happened to me. And that oil was the only thing that calmed it down. It started to take the pain away because it was painful and the swelling. Okay, so So I travel with stuff like that as well. Um, yeah, and just wherever I'm at, I just really, when you have like a background of understanding like how to evaluate food and what's good, I just do my best within that. But I can tell you, it's really, really hard because even when I think sometimes, okay, maybe I'll cook when I go certain places. But then I have to bring my own skillets because I don't cook with Teflon. People usually have Teflon pots and pans. Teflon is toxic as hell, okay? Really toxic, and it's hard to get out of your system. And it has an affinity for like the reproductive tract and stuff and can stay there for like decades. So I only cook out of cast iron, okay? Stainless steel is cool to cook out of too, but I cook out of cast iron, and I'm not traveling with heavy ass cast iron skillets. So, you know, and then some places you can't find good butter, or you can't find good eggs, or you can't find, so it's just hard, you know. And just now when I was in St. Martin, they eat too much damn bread to me, but that's because they have this huge French influence, okay? I cannot do all that bread. I don't eat bread a lot. And I just was like, the other thing too, I was going to say, people always say Americans don't eat a lot of vegetables, right? But I have found, like, whenever you go to an American restaurant or like an American meal, we always have, like, you know, there's some kind of meat or fish or whatever. We always have a starch and we always have a vegetable, like always, right? But when I have been like in a lot of, like, whether it be Paris or whether it be a lot of places in the Caribbean, South America, people don't eat vegetables like that. Like, they will eat meat and two starches. I cannot do meat and rice and French fries. Like, and we don't do that over here. Someone's gonna throw a vegetable in that mix, a cooked vegetable, some spinach, some something, you know. So I find that other places eat way less vegetables than we do. I think vegetables are overrated anyway. To me, it just helps to balance things out. I can't do all of those starches, all right? But that's how people eat everywhere, okay? So I get tired of the myths about the U.S. and people just keep reciting that when it's like literally, I study this everywhere I go. Not only am I studying it, but I myself am a picky eater and I want good quality food and good quality things. Because I don't feel good. I can't just be eating. I am not the kind of person that can just be eating anything. Like, I do not feel good. And so I just noticed, like, a lot of places, there's a lot of things I can't get. A lot of things, you know. So a lot of times I have to think ahead about that. And even traveling in the U.S., like, because I think the people who are truck drivers, they eat so unhealthy. All the truck drivers that I know, like, they eat horribly. Because they're on the road, they're eating stuff like, I would never eat from a rest stop. But they eat from rest stops, they're eating fast food, they're just eating whatever. So if you're, and that's the people in the entertainment industry too, who are on tour, you see so many rappers and stuff dying young from all these health problems. Because, like, they're on the road, they're doing all these drugs and they're drinking, and then they're eating crappy food. And when you combine the crappy food with all the drugs and the drinking, that's a prescription for early death, okay? Just straight up. So living that kind of lifestyle, so if you're on the road, you have to go out of your way. Like, even in the States, yeah, you have to go out of your way to make sure you're eating good things. Because I find in the States, and this is a general statement because the States is a huge country. I mean, the United States is big, but most of the time I feel like I find the best quality foods in cities, like if you're in a major city. But when you get away from the cities and you get into more rural areas, sometimes the access, unless it's a place that has a lot of farms, like upstate New York, I've fallen in love with upstate New York in the past 2 years. There's beautiful farms up there. So you might live someplace or Pennsylvania, there's raw milk farms all over that state. So, and the Amish and stuff like that. So there are some rural areas where you can get a lot of good stuff from the farm, but then there's somewhere they just don't have access to any of that stuff, and it's just crap. And being on an island, like even in Hawaii, I've been to Hawaii 3 times. They don't have a lot of good. I could not live in Hawaii. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can't get over there. When you're on, Hawaii is beautiful, but when it comes to getting good quality food, and no. So it's like, what was I gonna say? When you're on an island, I think that people too like idealize living on an island, because people go on vacation and they stay on a beach resort and they're like, oh, living on an island. So, but The way people, like, if you live like how people really live on an island, first of all, just because you're on an island doesn't mean that you're close to the beach. Okay? Like, I've been to Cuba 5 times, never went to a beach, never saw a beach. Because I was in Havana and I was in Santiago de Cuba. There's no beach there, even though the water is right there. There's no beach. You have to go, or Cartagena, Colombia. There's water there, but nobody goes to that beach. You have to, like, go an hour and a half to go to the beach. I'm not doing all that to go to the beach, but I'm just saying that just because you're on an island doesn't mean the beach life is part of your life. And when you're on these islands, you're limited, okay, to what's on that island. It's very, very limiting. So you have to import all these things from other places. And that's never going to be as good as eating local stuff. And then it's going to be more expensive. And then there's a lot of things you just can't get, you know. So I mean, those are just some of the things, like, for me. Like, so even though I'm not going to drink this at all. Would never in a million years. I was saying that Mexico's #1 when it comes to drinking sugary drinks. They drink more soda and sugary drinks in Mexico than they do anywhere in the world. Then Colombia, like, I've been so many restaurants in Colombia where you see a family sitting there to eat in a restaurant and they have a big 2-liter bottle of soda on the table. I'm like, never in my life. Like, soda is not popular in America anymore. Like, I don't see people drinking sodas. Of course, somebody does, but it's just not, it's not popular like it was in the 80s and 90s. Everybody was drinking soda. Most people got the memo that soda is not good. All right, and people aren't really drinking soda that much. But when I see families out in Colombia or a couple out on a date, they got a 2-liter bottle of soda on the table in the restaurant. And I am a tea drinker. That's another thing. I'm not into coffee. I used to drink coffee years ago. I do not want coffee, okay? But I do need caffeine every day. And I like to get my caffeine in the form of yerba mate. Yerba mate is a tea from South America. It's a green tea that looks like marijuana. And it has caffeine. And then there's matcha green tea, which comes from Japan. And it's like stone ground green tea leaves that they stone grind into a powder. And then I have a latte. I mix both of them with, like, milk and cream. And that's how I get my caffeine every day, right? But when I'm out of the States, I can't find that. Like, when I was in Europe, first of all, like, Starbucks will be my go-to because at least that's, like, the place that, like, it's almost everywhere. And I know they're going to have matcha because a lot of people don't have matcha. And in some people's matcha, a lot of people have low-quality matcha, which is really bitter and nasty. So, like, I know some coffee shops in New York and Harlem. I know some coffee shops by me in Chicago that have good quality matcha. But most places that have matcha, it's not good quality. It's really nasty. And it's not easy to find. So sometimes I'll travel with my yerba mate. Like, I have some, I brought a bag of yerba mate with me. So what I'll do here is I'll order some chai tea from Starbucks because there is a Starbucks in Colombia. And then I put my matcha tea inside of that. And that's how I'll do it. The matcha here from Starbucks is good. But when I drank matcha tea from Starbucks in Europe, I don't care if I was in France, the Netherlands, England, it tasted like vomit. I could not understand why it tasted literally like vomit. It tasted like rotten milk. And I'm like, I don't understand. Starbucks is a chain, okay? It's a chain. So why does this taste consistently disgusting over here? I don't get that. I don't get it. But tea doesn't seem to be the thing in a lot of places. And definitely in the Caribbean and South America, they don't do tea, okay? It's all about coffee. And that's what I'm saying. Another great thing about America, okay, is that if you want tea, you can find tea, okay? If you want coffee, you can find coffee. And you can find all kinds of varieties of it. You want cheese, we can go to a store, they got 50, 80 different kinds of cheese. You don't see that in a lot of other countries. They'll have like 2 or 3 different kinds of cheese and that's it. You know? So it's like the tea thing, like just now when I was in St. Martin, I was kind of miserable because like if they don't have tea, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to drink coffee. But I don't feel good when I keep drinking coffee every day, you know. So I eventually, what I did, I talked about this in another video, I found this coffee shop that I was going to. They had chai tea, but they were out of it all the time. And so then I saw that they made a ginger latte where they took the ginger juice and they mixed it with the frothy warm milk, and they made a latte, and they put cinnamon and maple syrup. So, and it was really good. So I got that, and I put my mate tea bags in there because I feel so much better when I consume caffeine in the form of tea. It has a different effect on you than when you're consuming it as coffee. And I'm gonna do a video about that too in a moment. I did do a video in the past about caffeine. Is caffeine really bad for you? Check that video out because I go into depth about that because it's not. It depends on your source. And I'm gonna do another video about these energy drinks because I've always been anti 5-hour energy drink, Red Bull, all that crap. I've always told people that. And lately when I started to actually research it, I learned a lot of disturbing things. So I'm gonna do another video about that. But I'm just saying, and then when I was in Cuba, of course in Cuba, you're just drinking coffee. Of course in Cuba, you don't have options, okay? You don't. And when I was in Haiti, there was no options. But that was because I went there right after the earthquake. But I can imagine it's like that anyway, because it's like that a lot of places. You just have whatever it is that they have there, especially when it's an island, and especially when it's a poor nation. They don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like whatever's there is there. Cuba has a big ice cream culture, though, which I love. Like, they worship ice cream. They have, like, literally a culture around ice cream. And I remember being in Cuba and seeing, like, this I went into, like, a store, just barely any stores. So I don't even know how I saw a store because, so, like, and I remember looking at this ice cream, and on the container, it said, ice cream could be a part of a healthy diet, and it was talking about how ice cream is a nutritious food. And I'm like, yo, I be telling people that. I've been preaching that for 10 plus years, and people think I'm joking. People are like, how do you stay so fit? Eat all the ice cream. I'm like, ice cream is a health food. If you're eating good quality ice cream, it's actually a health food. Not the Ben & Jerry's, not the Talenti and all that crap with all the guar gum and the xanthan gum and all that. No. But if you have good quality ice cream, which is one of the reasons why I love California, okay, because I always say California is the ice cream capital. The Bay Area, LA, I haven't explored ice cream places in San Diego, but I know for sure, like Long Beach, LA, the Bay Area, they have so many good artisanal ice cream places, especially LA. When I was in LA, my favorite ice cream place of all time was this place in West Hollywood. Their ice cream tasted better than any ice cream I ever had in my life. And I'm so sad that that place went out of business. I mean, like, I would never get over the fact that they closed. Never. Because I wish I had the recipe. I used to want to ask the man to ship the ice cream to me on the East Coast. I didn't care how expensive it was. When I went to LA, I would get like a, like a cooler, and I would go there and buy pints of ice cream. I'm like anal about my ice cream melting, which is one of the reasons why I love the winter, because if I buy ice cream, it's not gonna, I don't have to, when you buy ice cream and it's hot outside, like if it's Florida or you someplace down south, it is oppressive heat, and you buy some ice cream, even if you put it in your trunk, that shit will start to melt in like a minute. And I hate my ice cream melting. I like to keep it hard, put it in the freezer, you know what I'm saying? So I would get a cooler, because I'm like, okay, I'm upset in LA traffic, I don't want my ice cream to melt, I would get pints of it. So, Cali has a lot of artisanal ice cream places, good quality ice cream. And when I was in Europe, I couldn't find ice cream. Everything was gelato. I like American ice cream. Gelato is cool, but it's like soft serve ice cream. I like hard ice cream more. And so in America, if you want gelato, you can get gelato. If you want American style ice cream, which is fattier, you can get that. But when I was in Paris, the only ice cream I could find was the Haagen-Dazs stores they had, right? When I was in London, the Haagen-Dazs that they had different ingredients, and it was actually worse, okay? Haagen-Dazs in America had better ingredients than they did in London, all right? So I was like, I am not eating this over here. And when I go too many days, like when I'm home and I'm drinking my raw milk every day, I don't need ice cream all the time. But if I'm someplace and I don't have any kind of milk, I need ice cream. Like if I go too many days without some type of ice cream or milk, I don't feel right. I need butter, like. So I remember being in Spain, everything was freaking gelato. You know, so we got options over here. And there's a lot of artisanal ice cream places opening in a lot of different cities, you know, where its ice cream is made from better ingredients. So what I'm trying to say to you is, Like, people keep saying that everything in America is so bad and it's so processed, but you can find, I can guarantee you, people who say that you can't, you don't know what you're talking about, because this is what I know, this is what I research, this is what I do, this is what I teach my clients. You can find good quality pork and good quality beef, good quality eggs, good quality butter, whatever, ice cream, whatever it is that you want, produce. You can find good quality stuff here. You might have to do a little bit of work. And depending on where you are, some places is easier than others. Like, it's easier in California than it is in Louisiana, you know. And then, of course, we have such great weed in this country, too. But that's like a whole nother thing. But yes, I think I've talked long enough. I think I got the point across about... Then the other thing I'll add is that sometimes in my mind when I'm traveling, I'll say I want to go to the gym. But I usually never make it to the gym. I made it to the gym when I was in Spain, when I was in London. But a lot of times I don't make it to the gym when I'm traveling. Because, I don't know, whatever. But, like if I'm someplace that's hilly, like just now when I was in St. Martin, it was super freaking hilly, okay? And in parts of Colombia, it's like that. Medellin is like that, really, really steep hills. So walking up really, really steep hills, that's a serious workout. Serious. Like, I remember I lived in Pittsburgh and it was steep hills. I remember I gained like 3 inches of booty meat from walking up 1 block to the school I was working to every day because the hill was so steep. When you walk up steep hills, that really works your legs, it works your glutes, it works your hamstrings. Like when you're walking on flatland, it's not doing anything. You walk up a hill, whole different story. And then, you know, like, I feel like you have to be in shape to travel because there's so many times I've had to, like, carry my bags up some stairs. I get someplace and I got to walk up 4 flights of stairs with my bags or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this will be my workout, kind of. So I just try to do things to just, you know, there's other ways that you could try to challenge yourself if I can't get to the gym. And so, yeah, I have to definitely put work into being healthy when I'm traveling. You know, research, depending on the country I'm at, researching, you know, can I find brothy things? Can I find fermented foods? Can I find, you know, good quality dairy products? One thing I like about Spanish-speaking countries is that they have these drinks called batidos or licuados, which are like a mixture of milk and fruit. And what do Indian people consume? Lassis with fruit and yogurt. Didn't I tell you I don't eat fruit unless it's with milk or yogurt or cheese or something like that? I really don't. Not unless it's like a hot, oppressive day and I'm outside. I might eat some, and there's some fresh fruit. I might snack on that. But I don't eat fruit unless I mix it up with some yogurt and some milk. That's how I consume my fruit. And that's what they do in Spanish-speaking countries. I mean, you do see people selling. Colombia, there's a lot of food everywhere. Like, it's like that in Cartagena, it's like that in Medellin, and it's like that here. But Cali, there's food everywhere. Like, the people just selling, it reminds me of New York, okay? Reminds me of New York. There's food everywhere. There's restaurants everywhere. There's people selling food on the street everywhere. People with fruit carts everywhere. New York is like that. There's not many places that's like that. So yeah, those are things that I do. But I really, I don't eat those snacks on the airplane. I don't drink the high fructose corn syrup juice they give on the airplane. I a lot of times think ahead about where I'm going to, the airport, because some airports do have better food than others. Some airports have some decent food, so I'll think about that. I'll try to, if I can, I bring things, but that can be difficult because I can't really eat a meal on a plane while I'm freezing and there's no space and maybe somebody's next to me. But I try to, depending on what time my flight is, I try to eat a good meal before I get on the plane so I'm not starving while I'm traveling because that's miserable. Yeah, so I think that I've gotten my points across. Definitely thank you for listening. If you learned something from this video, like it, share it. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good evening. Bye.